Force line communication system, energy field up and high center. Pre-flight checking everything in position locations all levels of direction. How to high line center interference, it's all program location to its line system. It all opens all line and rotations, calculations to its line streams. So it's about understanding how to come together as a formation of an alliance. It's to understand how to use yourself through quadrant line centers, vector cores, sector communication system, rotation centers, all levels of view through the ground interference, ground lights, ground activation systems, and everything through its calculation is all levels of view. All right. So it's in modification line conditions. Now the background line interference location, that's just festivals that go on every weekend in Mexico. All right, so get ground line in rotation. I put an energy field in high system, so it won't be as loud. So I'm going to tunnel line channel. I'm going to get you guys in position directions. Core line center interference position location direction line system comes into all lines of your command centers. Command centers in rotation interference. In high position locations of track system locations. It's high channel, it's high line center, its rotation interference line condition to its direction. It opens all line signals in its rotation system. Correlate its high line center to its rotation line position. It opens all line conditions to its directions. So it's all about understanding what you're doing. That's the most important to understand, right? All modifies high line center locations of view through direction. How to signal that is very important, right, to your line centers. So it comes in calculation modification stream centers. It opens line interference. So the ground line centers are levels of view through command. It's how to command line interference. Okay, so it's connections to all levels of a hangar. Okay, so that is your bridge teleport system locations. All right, everybody has that. The vector communication line centers all lines as division locations, and everything through the sector is the calculations to its hangar. So it's all about understanding hangar 1, hangar 2, hangar 3, hangar 4. Everybody has their own bridge. Okay, you need that because that is your wrapping system. Okay, so it's kind of like, okay, I understand the 12 DNA. I know how to travel through it. I got my geometry line interference. Now I'm just waiting for all levels of its quadrant. Now the quadrant line centers all set up as locations. Now you find that in high sys location when you watch space movies. You understand that calculations, reclamation bin, command centers, fleet command, position locations, space stations, space commands. There's a lot of things you have to understand through track locations. So we're going to travel through high line interference location, the heart line. The heart line is the base. It's the command center. It opens all line center rotations, position location, all universal line systems. It puts you in a better position location. So I want you to understand to travel through all lines of view, all right? And understand what your ramp is. Understand what your runway is. What's the whole purpose of understand? What's to understand the chakra system? Well, it's about understanding the light graph interference. So as you're setting a program location, it comes in its position location of direction to its high system. Correlates its line center. Okay, so the Earth is on high interference. Okay, this is the Earth line center. All right, rotation spin cycles and rotation interference location. See how it's coming into light? Light's coming in high in rotation, very fast. Okay, in high rotation line system. It correlates its high divisions and what you're seeing through perception location. All right, see how it comes in signal. Now, as it comes in high line rotation, it activates all stream interference. Okay, see the Earth line center is set as locations. Your Earth perception changes its eye lines. So it's all about understanding when you wake up in the morning, you're living more in space line. And when you're living in space line, you start living in its position location of its direction. There's the Earth line condition of perceptions. Okay? So it's as in signal line in rotation, it's setting course lines. So it's setting out sonar interference. Now you got position location to the grounds. So we change that in high interference. In position location, here's the ground line system location. All right? And we come into the security line. Now the security line sets its position location of laser directions. We set a cross signal. All right? So it's a laser direction pattern to its positions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 in position location of direction. See that? It's coming in high center interference. We graph the line channels in its rotation system. We change it in high interference, higher levels of security measures into its plateau. Communication to its ground line system. See the coloration from purple to red? So the purple line center is set up in direction interference. Now that a high position location is all levels of its heart line. Heart line comes into the security measures. Security measures is it's red, right? Plateau interference location of direction. Okay. So it high signals and it pings the planet's surface to high line channels. It opens all line and rotation interference to all communication system. Planetary line centers of Jupiter, information to its log. Okay, you understand that too, what log is. Docile, docket, you know. Communication line centers at Jupiter in position. Now that rotation cycles high line center in position location of Saturn. Flash drive communications. USB channel line in rotations. Now calculation line streams, it's in position location of its direction. Okay, setting signals in high interference. Rotation to its system locations. All right. So it's interesting you come in that position locations, right? Saturn and Jupiter his system. Now it's high line interference locations. Now you need the sun and the moon. The sun and the moon is in position location of directions. This is where we high channel high line centers, the lulls, to its core line center. Okay, this is docket communication system. All right, so we come into calculation line system locations. This is where we come into the moon line, the rotation. Okay, there's the moon line. And high interference locations, we come into the sun line. Now the sun line setup is locations. It's registering pattern high interference. It's coming into a bright yellow line in rotation. See? This is the coloration to its position. Right? That's the sun line. Now the sun line comes in rotation. We set up position locations of directions. Now your rainbow active streamline center comes in high center. So we automatically set up magnetic force line channel. Sun comes into position locations of pixel box line rotation systems. It correlates as high line rotation interference, right? So it sets signals in position location of direction. Force signals in high interference. Okay, it's our calculation line centers of T reception lines. All right, so the quadrant line center to its high system location is already in its position. This is where you come into your command centers. The heart line indicator is set up position location of its direction. Okay, setting course is all channels of view. How to travel through it is another thing. It's an operation system to its space command. Okay, so it opens all position locations, all levels, right? You have your graph line center in position location. You have security measures and its high interference, and its perimeters and its parameters. It's high channeling, it's high interference, guys. So it's very powerful when you travel in that location or its position, right? Setting course channel locations, crew units, squad units 1 and 2, position line centers. Set them in the command center line interference of all levels of directions to their sector cores, communication quadrant line center. Put them in the hollow deck of communication system, okay? So set course line centers in GFL, rebellion, everything the ascended mass and the ascension gods. Put them in the track line centers. In rotation line position, computer operation line in rotation. Setting course, recheck high center. Okay, so we're calculating all line streams into the moon position location of sonar. Sonar is coming in high interference. Setting course line channels. Setting signal in position. Right? Signals are setting up position location of moon line. Moon line comes in high interference locations. T reception lines in high position locations redirect signals in high interference to the Earth line. And this is where we levitate the Earth line center location to the magnetic highway information system, setting all course line centers in the heart actor in position locations, right? So it's acting upon its position location of its reacting division. It's opening all triangles and position location of its direction, all right? So as we go into high center, we take it out of its calculation. Right? It comes out of its calculation, sets course and high line interference into higher line division in a rotation cycle into its magnetic of its command center of its rotation system to its quadrant line center from here to here, right? So as it's going in channel, it's setting up templates, channel position locations, redirecting sign lines. It's all levels of view through track force line communications of system lines. At all position locations of its directions. Okay, so as it comes into the Earth line from here to here, it's traveling extremely fast, Mach speed high center, putting you guys into holodecks of communication center lines. All right, so there's going to be guides of commands. There's going to be archetypes and high rotations. You guys are going to go through an energy wash. You're going to go through a tour guide. You have to understand what a space station is, what a command center is, what a space fleet center is, what is a hangar. These are the things. What is a teleport? You already understand your runways. So it's in calculation of high stream. Opens all channel position locations of its direction line interference. This is where it comes into the Earth perception locations. Once you start understanding more levels of the mind line, you kind of like live more line position location of its direction. So this is now here in position locations. Now, it's going to circle line center on the position location. Information to its high line rotation is all levels of Jupiter rising. Now, the Jupiter rising setting course reset line centers in calculation, setting new surfacing engine of program setting, resetting location to its position, redirecting high channels of high center, electrical light panels in position, signal in position location, high level system locations, all levels, coming into Saturn, signal in position location of direction, high channel its high rotation line position location, high interference line conditions, all levels, channel its rotation system, allocate time strain and interference locations, get the crews and the squads and all line center locations or all levels of GFL and the rebellion into the ascending master communications ascension gods communication line system, get them in the touring command center of their vector cores of their quadrant line system. 30 minutes. Have fun. Set and signal interference and position of directions. How about understanding how to set up GPS line centers, interference of programming, high channel high centers communication system. So understanding your command centers is all levels of you through its hollow deck, which is all position location of its base of its heart system location. All right. All right. So it's high channeling right now to high interference. All right, let's see how everybody's doing. I had to do that in sequence really quick, very fast for you guys, okay? All right, Max has it going. Nikki has it going. Jill has it going. Thanks for the grounds. Christine has it going. Pam has it going. Lindsay has it going. Gypsy has it going. All right, Jorgen has it going. Remy has it going. Michaela has it going. How's everybody doing on this Saturday? Dawn. JP. Pam. Micah. My daughter. Jessica. Michael. Terry. Johnny. Star. Skyla. Cami. Tina. Barbara. Taryn. Little Jess. It's great to see everybody. Everybody's doing well. All right, so really get used to the command centers. Everybody has their own command center. Everybody has their own fleet commander. Everybody has their own hangar. You have to really understand the quadrant lines and the quadrant level locations of what actually the heart is in all calculation, right? So it's a travel direction of space and time in all lines. So it's really understanding that position, location, and its direction. But it's amazing how you travel through position, locations of its direction. How it's set up is extremely amazing. All right. Drain Mac. All positions go. Calculation line centers. Okay, so as you guys are going through your position locations of your tour, once you understand what the heart is, you come out differently. You feel different. You are different, right? That's what this is. Every time you travel through something inside you changes everything through its aspect of you. That's how this works, guys. Okay? So, all right. Communication line triangle, size center. See how everybody's doing. Okay. Chris. Yeah, that's exactly. Arriving at the holodeck, giant screens, front of my computer, interface all around, seeing. Yep, flight commander is one of the greetings, me on the holodeck. Yeah, you guys will be introduced to all your commanders of fleet command. All right. So it's very powerful when you set things up all through travel. All right, so as you guys are going through that position location, I'm going to go through white graph interference. Board graph line channel. So it's amazing how you signal its position location of directions. I really want to get more into crop circles and how it's set up through signal, because it's all about understanding when you become ground's crew, you have to really understand what that means to you. It's all levels of the ground, the sonars of the ground, the activations of the ground, the computers of the ground. How do you set up signals of the ground? How to understand the electrical light system of the ground? How to understand the gravitational pull of the grounds, right? Sonars of the grounds, activations of the grounds, intelligence of the grounds, colorations. It's all levels of you, right? And that's just the grounds. There's so many levels you have to understand. So understanding you is its process of knowing more and more through memory. And that memory helps you out through that connection line system, right? So getting calculations, we're going to go through all levels of a black line circle in rotation to a system, location in center. Now we got the XT1000 and the same coloration line conditions. So the crop circles are set up in high position locations. See the intelligence? All right, so in position locations are always cross signal. They always do that, always, because they're reaching directional location of size graph line centers in position locations, right? Always do that. So how to set things up is all levels of laser in its position location of its direction. Okay, how it sets its signal. So it correlates its panel and opens online in rotation interference. The magnetic high interference location scans its high line in its position location in its direction, right? And this is where it comes into higher levels. See the wings? So the wings come in at high interference. If you see the position locations in direction, you notice in high interference in position location of a direction, you actually can see the wings come together. See the wings? See how it bounces high line center? Because your hand is nothing but a map sequence location. See the intelligence? So I just want to show you how powerful it is when you see these things through direction locations and how it's set up through online. So it opens all position location of its directions. So as you're setting up a crop circle location, you have to learn how to use the high channel interference. Now this is a blue plasma light center into a flux capacitor channel. Okay, it rotates its system, change the colorations of the ground line. Right now, you only see it through perception. Right, so it's a deep division location. It's a spectrum light conditions of a tunnel. Now that tunnel basically sets a core line center in direction to redirection location to its position. Remember, it's the ground that powers the atmosphere's high center. In high interference locations, the XT1000s automatically change the color to the center position location of its direction. As it comes in its direction, it sets a recourse line channel into all position. As it's traveling through high interference, the two line centers basically do high level rotation interference of telepathy wave signals. They communicate with each other. Set course, we check the high line center. Okay, they come in position. They travel through the center. Travel through the center, they automatically go in high channel locations. So we got rings and spectrum light communication system, 4 in channel line rotation, in position and direction. As they come in high interference, signal line position of the vector core line center, they travel through position location of directions, reset course line channels, and back into the coloration line. Okay, so it's all about understanding how they can go through rings and all levels of spectrum light communication system, traveling through it as a high line center. So it's all about understanding when you're traveling through these things, it's how to set these things up in sequence, right? But it always has its hanger, always has its vector core, always has its sector, and always has its quadrant lines. Quadrant levels, it has to have its own command center, which is all position location of its direction. Okay, so this is the center position location. This is where you set line center location to your own bridge. You have to learn how to use it through its ramping system. That's your runway to its 12 DNA. Yes, don't forget that position location of its directions. So you got line graph line interference of panels in a communication system. Okay, so these are barcodes of high line channels of electrical fences. High position location of graph lines. Okay, it's all about protecting what is inside position location of direction. Okay, it's the same thing with the Earth. You're protecting the Earth line. So it's in position location of direction. All right. Setting up graph line streams, you can change it into black line rotation interference. You got blue into black. All right, so that right away confuses everything through high interference. It position location of its directions. So the XT1000 comes into high in rotation, comes into high interference. So they start basically traveling through the electrical grid system. See, there's electrical grid. See, there's one there. And it's going down in position location of direction. See how they travel? Go from here to here. And they go from here to here. So you have to understand how they zip, zap, zoom in position, location, and direction all through a universal line. Now, it's a computer adaptation system. Remember how we go through the 24, 48, 72, 144 in calculations, all levels of its direction? That's exactly what it is. So they're clocking their system. They're clocking their system in position, location, of direction. This is how we come into that modified line center. I wanted to show you how powerful it is when you see these things. It's incredible force when you go through the clocking system to its position location of all directional location of its XT1000 lines. All right, so now you know exactly how powerful it is to set up anything. Okay, so you have to have, it's kind of like you understand your alphabetical system. You understand how to go from A to B to C to D and E and F all the way up to Z. Well, that is in correlation line to its position direction. But understanding the XT1000 line is truly understanding how to go through all levels of its clocking system. Okay? So it's incredible force when you understand the travel position of time and everything through space. All right. All right, Pam's understanding, great. That's excellent. I'm glad you guys are understanding a little bit more. And that's what you have to understand, is really understanding more levels of the mind, which is the expansion. The more expansion, the more you explore, the more you explore, the more bandwidth you can have through its telepathy of its waving line system. So every time you get up, you start living the lines of space. Now that's just graph high line center location of a channel line, position location of its direction, how to understand what the XT1000 do through the line signals, right? How they travel through a graph, right? That's a true understanding when it comes into that calculation, guys. It's very, very powerful how to set things up. The size graph location is its box position, okay? Contemplation interference. Now it's true understanding that you're seeing everything through a window, right? It high channels its position location of its direction. So it doesn't matter if you cross stream or anything in high system. What are you protecting? You're protecting things from inline center of its rotation system from inside location. You're protecting this. So, and this is true understanding when you come into online center. So everything is in protection lines. It's all communication to the heart line. Okay, the heart line position location. There's the heart line. Now the heart line set in position location of direction. So that's the most important thing, because it's a space command center that you have to protect every single time you do your pre-flight check locations. You have your ground line centers, your powers, and your atmospheres of position, but it's mostly understanding what the heart line is in its direction. Okay, so it's incredible force when you get into coloration of change, times of change, space of change, locations, lock interference of high line interference of change. Okay, rotation line graphs, locations of change, all levels of the heart indication line, center of a change to its heart line. All right, so you have to understand how to set the graph interference locations. Now it's interesting too, because when you come across line center location, you can change the power line center of green. Green is position locations, all right? So basically, if you're happy in position location, electrical lights come out in position line center. It rotates its cycle in its position location of its direction. All right. So as it's set in signal, it's setting up a teleport unit in rotation to its position. Okay. Always has the ground line center, and you are always in the power operation line position. All right. So again, another XT1000 comes in position location of the direction. 2 line centers and high interference. If there's a problem, there'll be 2 more in locations. These are the low grids. You have low grids, medium, and high grids. Okay, of XT1000 lines. So at all position locations of what you're doing through direction line interference. Remember, the crosses signals and position locations of redirecting what you're doing through modification to your emotional track system. Now, you get the low grids. They can laser direction interference, and they can use electrical light connections and basically set up a course line. Now you get a graph interference location of 4-point line interference line connection protecting all line center locations of its commanding system of its heart. You understand what your heart is. It's an indication location to everything through planetary line centers, to every beacon of light, and every universal line connection. Okay? That's why it's so powerful to have the heart, how to use it. It's not just a heart that beats. It's a space station. It's a command center. It's everything inside your business location of direction. So the clocking system is its palpitation. All right. So how fast is it going? Right. So that's interesting. You come into graph interference. XC1000 comes in, checks your heartbeats and communication system. So you're traveling faster, right? So as everybody understands, electrical light connection interference, it positions its program location to laser direct line centers. It's very, very powerful. How it comes into laser graph interference location of direction line in rotation to its calculation of its graph system. Okay, so the heart is extremely, extremely powerful and being protected in an all line center to all universal location, all universal connections to its galaxy systems. It's always, always, always in protection. All right, so now you know what the heart is. And its position, right, inside a space command. All right. You're going, whoa! Oh, boy. It's very powerful when you come to that connection size. It's really, really interesting where you're creating line centers of space inside you. So you're creating a whole new you, right? You put the pieces and puzzles together and it comes into a formation of alliance. It's a beautiful thing, right? Actually, what the heart is. So, hey, Barrick, how you doing? Every watch can watch back. That's totally fine. I'm just getting everybody in calculations of what the heart is and all direction line interference. You're protecting this every single day, position, location, of its directions. So in calculations, if you don't understand the heart line centers of palpitation interference, you get 2 line position up top and 2 line positions at the bottom. It's all about protecting the heart, okay? Because we don't want anything to come in a signal line. If we get a signal line, we get a beacon light. All right, so it's the breach, high center location, security breach line, error. So that comes in calculation modification line streams. So it's true to how to set things up in core line center to its beginning location, high channel and high line center to high interference location to its direction high system, and come into a level line center location in the heart of its space command. All right. Confirmation, all levels. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's incredible when you understand what it is now. See, when you guys come out of its teleport unit line, you understand what the heart is. And then you're going to respect yourself more because you know what it is. Right? Keeping your vessel communication inside line center in position locations of your right and your left direction interference. So it's all about understanding all levels of view of communication, what the avatar is and how it responds, how it reacts to you inside. Okay, that's a true understanding. As soon as you change your emotional track, you're scared. You're going to shake. So what do you think the heart's doing? Right? So it's all levels of a computer line, right? Let's say you get an anxiety. It's like, oh, your whole body, it's going, it's off signal. So it's understanding what the heart is in all line center locations. You have to listen inside to understand what the heart is doing every single day because it's a Schumann resonance of you through its ground system. Okay? Understanding the operation is truly understanding its calculation to its space of its command system. Okay? It's the base of you and all line center. Okay? Of space, time, and travel. All right? It's all portals to all position. Right? So now you understand, which is amazing. Reconfiguring, redirecting the course and protect all lights in the heart. Exactly. Coming down line center interference. Yeah, it's extremely informative, Pam. And now you understand more because I know, Pam, your position, location, and direction of your heart line is exactly what you need. So you get a better understanding how to represent yourself in a better way and form of what your vessel is and how to operate it through its geometry and interference. It's all position, location of directions, guys. Right? So it's knowing on-line center how to use it through its connection. Right? But that's exactly what it is. It's a whole new look. Right? Jenny, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. So that's the first thing that you guys do when you wake up in the morning is protect your heart, put up security positions at graph line centers. But it's how to do it. So the only way to do that is to understand everything inside first, master everything in space inside of you. Then you can understand the communications, its palpitation of its heart, and what it means to you from all levels of human resonance. Because it tracks your system line conditions of beacon lights. It sets its course line center and interference location of its direction. But it's number one to protect what is inside of you. Because the heart is its connection to everything inside through the electrical system. That's why it's so powerful. It's not just an organ, is it? Now you know. So once you get into the graph line center, this is the position location that you have to understand. What is your electrical light centers? Okay, so we'll get into that later, but I'm just showing you what it is, what a wire is, and how to use it. We have to get into that. So wire is connected on all levels of you. So it's all connected to the heart. There's 3 valves in high interference. They're in the ground line center in calculations. It streams its interference locations all levels. It's a telepathy signal to its beacon light that sets its signal location of its alpha, delta, theta, beta, or omega communication line. You have to really understand the high position locations of its directions. So you get a ground line center and a rotation in calculations, right? So you get a box line center and you got wires and high interference. Now there's 3 track lines of intelligence. Now it's all together, right? It's weaved in one position location of a coil. Now you guys understand that. If you look at a wire, you can see the coil wrapped around it, right? And you can see the copper, right? And how it just weaves in together, right? So you have to truly understand how to set the course lines, right? So it's like this in position location, right? So that's about keeping it together, right? Because if it sparks off in high interference, it sets up electrical light conditions and directs the interference location to grounds. So it's about understanding how to travel through the wire lines, anything through the calculation of the system. So I just want to show you, we have to really get into wire lines and communication levels because it's one line to another line to its communication, right? How to channel through it is all over the human resonance. Let's say you cross signal interference. You use a rainbow graph system. It's human resonant location, a graph. There's your graph. So you get a graph line and you got a line coming down in position. All right. So the heart indicator is setting a high interference location. You have an extremely happy day. And the graph line center goes extremely up and high system, right? Extremely high. So here you're okay. Here you're low. Here you're okay. Here you're okay. Here you're really good, right? See how it changes? So your heart is palpitating on so many line signals and locations per second. So understanding the track line, where is your clocking line center of your heart? Is it at 24, 48, 72, 144? If it's mocking interference locations, you really have to understand your light signals, okay? This is understanding your space of command inside line. How to use it through position location is a different position. So once you get in this graph line signal and you got an overcross line in rotation, this interlines its position and disrupts its calculations to its graph system of its human resonance. So it changes everything through its high system. So once this line connection understands the graph line center, the heart recognition of time comes into calculations to the same coloration of its position of its travel recognition of time location. Ooh, see? Balance. Balance. Palpitations of the heart. Balance. See how powerful it is? All levels of different communications, all line centers of your thought line connections, guys. MB, how's it going? All right. So it's important how to use your Schumann graph. Right. Schumann resonance highline center graph interference locations. All right. So your 24,000 line connections is all levels of U and channel. So you have to really understand the ground line center locations. 24,000 signals of grounds, 24,000 signals of security, 24,000 signals of your sacral, 24,000 signals of your power. Okay, 24,000 signature locations to your heart. Palpitation line connections are spaced line connections. So each chakra system is its position to its direction. How to travel through it is another thing, all through the calculations to the Schumann resonance. Okay, now graph interference. So once you get into that, then you understand the wireline centers. Okay, once you understand that, then you understand the electrical system locations to your heart lines. Right? Once you understand that, you understand modification line connections, how to travel through a line center of planetary surface and position location of space command systems inside position location of direction, all through your T reception lines. And modification line center, graph interference locations to all levels, coming in at a 2 line center location next to 1,000 line center location of spectral lights. Knowing exactly what you're doing, right? That's a true understanding when you go through travel line position. All right. All right. Where are we through track system here? Beautiful heart connection. I'm late. That's fine, Ambi. No worries. Always protect the heart. Yeah. And then you have to understand why it's so important to have your heart in so many levels of universal line, right? See, Ambi's very informative with her timelines, and she's very connected to all levels of the heart. So that's a true understanding where she understands the grounds and the shadow work, and why it's so important is to protect what is yours inside on all levels of your electrical system. Okay? How to use it is another thing. But you really, really master communications online of 24,000 signals in its position. Okay? That's going to help you out more and more each day when you wake up. What vibration are you at today? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you angry? Are you depressed? Are you confused? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'll let you know later. What vibration are you at? The heart will indicate its position location, right? So full communication on the right line center and the left line track location of its heart position location is all spacing communication line centers of all you through direction. Okay. So it's truly understanding not just all levels of you inside, but it's the mastering the communicator. You are mastering your plan to get what you want through manifestation. And the only way to do that is to understand your heart. Okay. And how it works in space and time and travel. Okay, it's the same thing. So once you understand what the chakra system is, you get a better understanding how to use it through your voice and grids from its sonar line center of its ear line rotation, or anything through its eye receptor, or anything through the crown chakra. Right? You have to learn how to travel, right? Through the mind. That's all this is. The projector location is all levels of light, and everything through the high position location, the program setting, is all levels of its mode and Mug's moon. All you have to understand is all levels of you inside. That is its full operation to its position. Okay? So, all right. Where are we here? Whole world is here, guys. And the thing is, too, it's interesting. The more you guys stay in the heart lines, you start coming more into your memories. You start recognizing exactly what's going on with your ages, your early age, your integration locations. Remember, I was saying that is truly understanding through clocking system. Your heart, okay, goes on so many levels of you of emotion. and it's all connected to what you create through your thoughts. Okay, so your thoughts are accelerating as your heart is palpitating. Right? Makes sense, right? Think about it. So if you actually take your right line, okay, this is the earth line, this is the earth, this is the space. Earth, space, earth, space, earth, space. Okay, understand? So when you go to a higher level system, it changes, right? Because now you're going into higher wind, right? The galaxy line. It's always in rotation, but it's never in one position location, right? So you have to really understand the wind factors of communication line connections. See how that sets up? And it's confusing. You know, it's where is it going? Where is it setting? Whoa, it's going this way. Whoa, it's spinning. What's happening here? It's set into a spectrum light. Going on this positional occasion. Planetary line center, XT1000 coming in. And position location of direction line center, laser direction line center, solar graph interference locations, dimensional line center, lock line rotations, graph interference location, atmosphere change position, in position location, direct line system. Understanding what space is as all levels of view from inside line position, getting the sonar line centers, getting the visionary interference, getting all your voice and grid line interference location to do its calculation, and how to use it is all levels of view through the heart system. Okay? Because it registers at so many levels of timelines all at once, simultaneously. Right? So in track line center, going to position locations and understand the particle light center, understanding your photons, your electrons, your neutrons, okay, anything through the highest system. Those are the basic ingredient location of elements. How to use it is its cell generation light interference location is program setting. Resetting course lines of communications of wires is extremely important to the heart line. Okay, so this is your earth line of your hand. This is your left of space. Right, left, right, left. Okay, understand that. So you have your right and you have a left hemisphere line. Okay, so it's in position locations, all level line centers of yin and yang. Ooh-ah, that's all it is. Yin and yang. Ooh-ah, right? Split line center and interference location, yin and yang. All your levels of travel is all position location of you. Really understand the palpitations of the heart because it's all connected to Schumann resonance, which is all levels of your electrical system. Okay, it modifies all levels of you through your graph of your scepter location, right? Your fluctuation line connections, your chakra rotation line interference, your Schumann resonant line interference location of its graph line center of its crown chakra. So the 8 line, understanding the 8 line rotation is all communication of high system. So when you come into that calculation line stream, you really have to learn how to use all levels of numbers, code signal its position locations. So you get a 1 direct line centers equals box, okay, equals 8 in position locations. So 1 line center is you in position location. Equal line center location is box. Box is position locations to you through your TV line. It calculates and modifies all levels of you to position location of its direction. So setting signals of course line comes into its all line. Okay, there's a flux capacitor. Flux capacitor has to come into the 8 line center because it's your teleportation unit. It's the calculations how you use your telewaving telecommunication system. It's all command centers to the heart system. Yes. Coming in that position location is its direction line system. Comes into its 8 rotation line position to its direction. Okay. So understanding how to use it is all levels of you. Okay. So you understand why there's 4 line centers of everything position locations and 4 seasons in all position location and directions. So you got 4 track line centers, 5 within position, 6 within center, code line inner rotation to 2 vector interference locations in the high system of 7 line connections, which is your earth line, and high interference location of your chakras, 5 atmosphere line position location of 12 line position location of its directions, 1 and 2 position location of its direction. 1 line center in rotation, and 2 in position location of its direction. Right? So the I line in a rotation, teleportation unit. The 8 central line centers the infinity circle, infinity system. The cyclop channel line interference with psychosis location of its I receptor interference. So it's truly understand how to use it through calculations in position location of its direction. High channel, its high line center. See the intelligence? Ooh-ah. So, a lot to understand, eh? So now you get a better understanding when you guys come out of the heart line. You understand why it's so important just to live your system in the now and stop focusing on everything else. Just focus. What's so important is you on all levels from inside position. Okay? So, wow, what a powerful class. All right. So, like I said, I have no filter. I go from here and there and there and there and there and there, but I'm reaching all levels of what you need to understand. And everybody that comes in and signal position, the soul direction, the interference location, anything the graph line center, I catch you on your position location and where you are through vibration, all through the fluctuation. And that's what you guys have to understand. If you want to understand how to use the energy, you have to learn how to use the vibration and its frequency to everybody else. You bounce your system first, all levels inside, truly understand the registration location to the heart and how it represents you in all levels of its position location to its lights. Because that's all you are. You're just dimensional lights of travel. You just have to learn how to travel through higher levels of the geometry and interference. So many teleportation units you can travel through acceleration of Mach through clocking system. It's very powerful when you reach those levels of the mind because it projects line center locations of the moon and sets up higher line center locations of the lights in its position location of its commanding system. Okay? So, all right. So you guys having a lot of fun. It's good. $47 line conditions and 26 seconds per line. Okay, let's see. I'm on the station. Monitoring travel, communications of travel, impulses of travel, acceleration, Mach communication line system, GPS, navigation system. Yeah, you guys have to understand all these stuff, especially when you get in your commanding centers in your holodecks. To understand what space is in all line center of you, right? So, all right. So code signaling, interference location, take all track line center, interference of cruise units, high position locations, high interference location of GFL, and the rebellion location is sending mass communication extension gods. Take them out of track and interference, high position location directions. Okay. So the reduction communications of the high line center is going to take you guys out of position location. All right, you guys are back. It's interesting how you understand how to use the heart line and how to use it through anything as calculations, but really understand why it's so important to just stay in the now. Okay? You don't want to confuse anything through anomaly of anything through space line or anything through travel, right? Because it can bust the high channel line in its position location to its heart line. Right? So it's about balancing the frequencies of lights of communication system all through the heart, right? Stay in the present and you'll be totally fine. Don't find a way to get an emotional track interference. Don't find a way to get confusing location to its triangle or anything through its times pi, times square, or its triangulation. Okay? It sets signals in offline right away in its calculation. All right? So, yeah, I'm glad, Andrea, you're understanding more. That's amazing. Really understand. It's all about the basic understanding is that, do you know you inside? Let's just start there. That's the introduction. Now, once you understand that, you just have to use telepathy to go inside. Now, if you can do it with others, that's great. But can you do it from inside? And then when you start seeing these things, you start putting it all together, right? You start understanding what the vessel is and what it can do, right? What it can do for you, right? Going inside is all levels of you. That's the mastering communication to its division. All right. All right. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed. Hope you guys had a lot of fun. No class tomorrow. Familiar Day. I might be on TikTok if you have any questions or comments. Other than that, I will see you Monday. We got Zoom. Zoom. Zip that Zoom. All right. Take it easy, everybody.